Sara Russo.
Hello.
Hello. You are a photographer.
Yes.
You are a mom. You are a wife.
Yes.
You are a friend. And today you're going to add a new little title to that. You are an advocate.
Yeah.
And so I just want to officially welcome you to the Truthfully Tracy podcast.
I'm glad to be here.
I am so glad. You know, when I released the podcast, you were one of the first messages of just being like, I have something I really want to share and I'm ready. And I could feel it in you. I could see it in you. And then after we met, it was just so clear that everyone needs to hear what you have to say. And so I applaud your bravery for being here today.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't know what it is that I just have felt called since this loss, that something needs to be said, more needs to be said.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do want to start by adding that today's episode, we will talk about some sensitive subjects, and most of my podcasts do anyway. So this is really not a surprise, but there is help in our community, and I will have all of those things tagged in the comments of our sections. But we really want to bring awareness and truth to a couple harder topics today. And so first, Sara, tell me about the Sara that we see in the community, the incredible photographer, the mom juggling 3 beautiful children.
Thank you.
Tell us about you first.
So yeah, kind of like you said, I spend my time caring for 3 children, 5 years old, 3 years old, and 11 months old. That was my true calling in life. Honestly, it was to be their parent. Photography just came to me, I think this is my 3rd year, by chance. We had lost our childcare. I had a job it was a fine job, but we were kind of in a position to pivot. How can I be home with them more and still do something? I wanted to do something. And it was funny. My husband said, "Oh, well, what about that camera?" And I was like, "Yeah, what about it?" He had gotten it for me, before we had the kids. I think I was pregnant, and I might have said it once that, "Oh, it'd be fun to take pictures." And husbands are like, easy gift. She wants a camera. So he bought it for me on a whim, and I'm so glad he did, because I was like, what about that camera? After a minute, I was like, well, maybe there's something there. And so I started to really deep dive, and I was like, maybe I just needed something more than an iPhone in my hand before now to really find out that I had something here. So yeah, I just started. I put my 2 weeks after I convinced him. I begged him. I'm like, I'll do whatever. Please just let me go for this. Yeah, I put my 2 weeks in. I had no business doing that, but I did. So
wow, and you threw yourself in.
I did, but I felt like I needed that pressure. Yeah, I felt like if I were backed into the corner and I had the chance to make this work and be home with my kids more and do something that was creatively fulfilling, or do a job that was a paycheck, kind of busy work. I'm going to make this work, right? When it comes to your kids, you'll do anything. So that's kind of how I felt, my motivation.
So this was about 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. You said you picked up the camera for the first time.
Yeah.
And if anyone follows Sara, which you all need to be following Sara, you can see how this is such a natural gift. It's so clear how gifted you are.
Thank you.
So clear. And so the fact that you've only been doing this for 3 years, speaks volumes on your talent.
Thank you.
But this ended up becoming, in a way, a form of therapy along the way, right?
Totally.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your dad, and you start where you want to start.
Yeah. So I think I just smile every time I think of him, because he was the dad any kid would be so proud to have. All of my memories of him from childhood to adulthood are I feel like when I think about him, it's a big warm hug. Like he's always just been such a steady and unwavering support in my life. He was just the kind that always takes care of everyone else first. Yeah, he was wonderful. He was funny, and he was just kind, unbelievably kind. And as much of a good dad as he was an even better grandfather and a papa to my kids. And that, I mean, you can't put words to that. He was everything you'd want in a father and a papa.
Your dad struggled some.
He did. Yeah, he was an alcoholic. He started drinking, I think, when he was 14. He was very, very young. And it's something that growing up with, I don't think that like I fully knew, or he either like hid it better or I was too young to understand like what was going on. I know it's something that was a really a struggle point for my parents. They struggled, just about alcohol in our house. But somehow I don't know how he did it, because I think because his heart was so good, that always overshadowed everything as a child. I think that as a parent, you put that front out first for your child. So, despite his struggles, he was just always genuinely just good. But his struggles, yeah, they did lead us to a point where, in my adult life, I did feel like my children can't know, because I know too much now, right? Like I, as an adult, see what's actually happening here. And despite the cover being good in my childhood, my children can't know this cycle too.
Yeah, I think that's a huge level of awareness there, that you can look back at that time and say, I could feel his heart so clearly, and I can see the good in him, and I can see the struggle. And I've got to imagine it was hard to grow up too with someone that, they say kind of alcoholism or a coping mechanism like that. It becomes another member of the family in a way.
Yeah. Because it was like you said, I was very like, I think as an adult, I can see it. There was two kind of entities at play in a way. My dad, who I know his heart, I know his intentions, and then there's alcohol. And I think this is something, even like during his struggles, like I had to remove my worth from, because I think so much of my worth as a child, as a daughter, like I was like, if he loved me more, he wouldn't do this. And I think that I've gotten to a better place, even with this loss. I think it's very similar. I had to remove my dad from these things that are not necessarily who he is or was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was that something that you more recently? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I think it's going to be like a lifelong struggle probably.
100%.
Or yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a basic need, right? The love from our parents is a basic need. And so when there's another layer that's in there, which was clearly helping him function in the world and show up the best way he knew how, but also allowed you only parts of your dad at times.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
So you made this decision that you grew up, you had gotten used to this lifestyle with your dad, but then there was a point where you were like, I don't want my children exposed to this.
I was pregnant, with my first son. I wrote it in a letter to him. I basically, for lack of a better words, it was an ultimatum. There was some like fluff and some love, but it was some tough love. Like, I know you're better than this, and I know the papa that you want to be, and that's not this. And he did. He got sober, which is like a true testament to his love and his willingness to fight for himself, for us. He got sober, and he was like the most proud papa, and it was obvious how clear as day how proud of himself he was. Yeah. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for him to stay sober and be sober, but he did it.
He did it for you. And he did it for those grandchildren. And do you think this was the first time someone had put an ultimatum like that in front of him?
I don't know. I think I know that he and my mom struggled quite a bit, for years over their marriage and because of alcohol. But I think his children, there was something about his children and then his grandchildren. Like, I don't know if there was anything better in this world for him than being their papa.
Yeah. So a lot of children that have had parents that have struggled with alcoholism hold a lot of anger. They're not able to see the person behind the disease. And I think that's so much like, I want you to share that lens for the audience today, because I think it's so important that we get lost in the pain of the addiction, which, yes, I am sure there was pain caused by the addiction, and that's valid. But I also want you to sort of paint a different lens of what alcoholism is and how you have made sense of it.
Yeah, I think I was really blessed with a man that his actions really, they gave me a clear direction of who he was. So I think unless you have that, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. So because of who he was and the way he was, it made it more clear for me who he, like his true self. So the actions that were caused by alcohol were misaligned. They didn't mesh to what I knew. So it was clear for me to kind of distinguish, like, this is my dad. This is my dad with alcohol. So I think in a way, because there was a stark difference between his behaviors, like at his worst, he was missing at one point. We were calling hospitals at one point trying to find him. That's not my dad. Like, that's very clear to me. The man that's reliable and always checking in, and the man that's always giving you the shirt off his back, that's not the man that is going AWOL and, going to CPAP like that. That's just very clear to me. That's not the same. So I think that if you offer empathy in those situations, like if you approach with empathy, as opposed to anger, you're more likely to get a little further, period. And not just with alcohol, with life, period. If you approach any situation with, someone's intentions are good and they're just having a hard time, I think you would find that you would see a lot of things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you brought up another huge self-realization that you came to was this wasn't about you. His alcoholism wasn't about you. And I think as a child, we interpret it through that lens because we have no other lens. Like, how are my needs not being met? It must be me. It must be something about me. And so as an adult, rewiring those beliefs and coming to the point of saying, no, my dad was doing everything to survive in many ways.
Truly. Yeah. And I do think, like I said, I'm not overcome of that thought. Like, I do think that that's something that I'll probably have to grapple with for a long time. It's just like you said, it's like a basic human need to feel worthy and to feel loved and to feel put first by your parent, and anything other than that feels like, whoa, like, what's wrong with me?
Right. Yeah, of course. Of course. So your dad gets sober.
Yeah.
Did he have help?
Yeah. So he was inpatient. I think it took him a couple tries. The day that I heard that he was going inpatient to be treated for his alcohol addiction, I was floored. I was in disbelief. I'm like, there's no way. Because this is the man who, he's got it under control. He's fine. No way. I've got this and to do. And so when he went, I don't even know. Like, I was shook. But he did. He went, I think, I want to say it was like a 90-day program. And then he did like an extended stay. And when I saw him the first time, like clean and sober, it was like, reborn. He had like this pep in his step, and he was just so vibrant. He was so like the real him, like was right in front of me that I've known this whole time. So we were incredibly proud of his dedication to his program, and he thrived. He did, and he took on this like caretaker role for everyone in his life after. He was like driving everyone to meetings, and he would complain about it, but he would still be picking kids up, and taking them to AA. It was just who he was. He would just needed a job, and he needed to feel like he was doing something. And by doing something, he was helping himself as well. He just needed that sense of worth in himself. I think being sober, I think he didn't have any other tools. So he was just rebuilding the tools.
Right. I mean, that coping strategy destroys your self-worth because you can't stop. And as much as you want to stop, you can't stop. You need help. It's a mental, it's a physical, it targets every part of your body. And so, the amount of guilt and shame that individuals sit with and live with, knowing that they're reliant on this thing, yet it also is the scariest thing in the world to give it up. And it's an internal battle constantly.
Yeah. And
so he was now free of this, which I'm sure it doesn't go away. Like it's a daily practice.
Right.
You're rewiring the brain. You're learning to live without it.
Yeah.
So he was giving it all back into the community.
He was. Yeah. Yeah. And he was so proud of that. Oh, he was.
So how long did this period last for?
This was 2 years.
Wow.
2 years. Yeah. He was going to AA regularly. He was like heading meetings there. He was chairing, I think, is that what you call it? I don't know. He dove in head first, and he was reaping the benefits. It was very clear.
Wow. And at this point you had 2 of your children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had been a big part of their childhood in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like his life's mission. We talked every day on the phone. We came over and saw the kids every week, multiple times a week. Yeah. That was everything to him. Yeah.
And then what happened?
Then I had gotten a call that changed everything. No one was able to get a hold of my dad. I had seen him the day before. He was at my house. His last words to me that he was going to get a fish sandwich. Very normal, very mundane. And then the next day, I called him. He didn't answer. I left him a voicemail. My grandfather called me. My uncle called me. No one can get a hold of him. And so my uncle went to my dad's apartment, and he called me and he said, he's gone. Yeah. I collapsed. I was in a restaurant. He said, Sarah, he's gone. My uncle, his brother found him in his apartment. I don't know how graphic I'm like.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Something no one should have to see, no one should have to imagine. It rocks me even right now, like that reality. I just can't. Some days I genuinely feel like it's hitting me all over again.
That's what trauma does. It's the reliving, right? Like it was just yesterday.
Yeah. I hate it. I just hate, I think the hardest is imagining the moments right before it, like that he thought that was like the best choice in that moment. And I hate that he felt that.
He sounds like a very selfless man.
That's it. That's selfless. I think that's a huge misconception. And I was probably guilty of thinking that people who take their lives are selfish. At one point, I might have thought that. But knowing who he was, I know he thought, I hate this. I know he thought he was relieving us of something by doing this, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
And that's why this is so powerful today. So powerful, because I think we truly need to rewrite the way that we look at what suicide is. And my own story, I'm very open with the fact that I had ideations in my early 20s when I couldn't imagine, couldn't see getting out of the pain. Like nothing had worked. And the last thing you actually want to do is leave this world. You do not want to die. Yet you want the pain to stop so badly. And the belief in your head is, I'm doing this for everybody else. It's not about you. It's always about everybody else. I'm going to make everybody else's life easier. This is going to be easier on everybody. And let me just remove me from the equation. And so it sounds like this was the type of man that your father was.
100%. Yeah. And I wanted to strangle him because I know he knows he was loved, but I know the only rationale that makes sense is what you said, is that like, let me just stop being a bother to everyone. And that thought, like the thought, me thinking that is just, it's heart-wrenching. Like it could not be further from the truth. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to not be able to fix anything. You know, it's done. He's gone. So like, the helplessness, I think there's no fixing that. There's no explaining it to him. Like, listen, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. It's too late.
Right. And that's so much of what you're doing right now, though. You are taking what happened to you and your family, and you're putting your voice out there. Yeah. You're speaking to that helplessness. Because I have no doubt he's listening.
I hope so.
I have no doubt. So this clearly sends a shock through your family.
Yeah.
No one saw this coming. He didn't give any hints that this was something on his mind.
No, but I think, I don't know, the only way I've made sense of any of it is that if you look at it from a broader perspective and not just the day or the week or the month, if you look at the course of the last few years, I'm not saying it was leading to this by any means, to give you some context. Like he had a back injury, so his like back had been bothering him continuously for years. So he wasn't hunting as much. He wasn't fishing as much. He wasn't getting around quite as well as he used to. There was just like a series of things like this. My parents were kind of in the thick of it, you know. He was living in an apartment by himself, and I don't know. I went to his apartment after and like, you know, just going through his stuff. I'm like, no wonder you are sad. Like it is not a fun place to be. Like this is not, he had a garden, he had boats and he had toys and now he was like, his life had been kind of like condensed down to this sad little apartment by himself. So like, yeah, you're going to be sad, Dad. Like
it's the isolation. Yeah. And then to be in pain. So pain is a constant, you know, just snag. And then if there was emotional, you know, distress with your mom, and then it's like things just pile, right? Mm-hmm. They pile. And his one coping strategy that had worked his whole entire life had now been taken away from him.
Exactly.
And so in so many ways, we don't teach coping strategies. We don't give and so recovery is all about learning new to replace the old, but he was still so fresh out of this.
Right. Yeah. And the day before, when he was at my house, he had asked me, it was so cute actually. He was like, Sara, have you ever been to therapy? And I was like, Dad, yes.
Since I was 10, Dad.
Dad, yes, I have been to therapy. I'm like, do you want to do, like, I was like, I know a therapist. I have a client. She's a therapist. I'll text her right now. I'm like, I think everyone can benefit from therapy. Like, even if there's not anything like concrete that you want to talk about, like just talking to someone that's not, a bias, there's no bias. So, I don't know, just our final conversations were about ways to get him more connected. We talked about volunteering at Helping Hounds, just getting out of the house and doing something purposeful. I can't help but feel like I was too late. I just didn't know where we were.
Well, he wasn't showing you. Like, you can look back and see pieces, like little.
Right.
But he wasn't giving you enough.
He didn't want to.
You're
And
absolutely right.
I won't forgive him for that. I won't.
Because you would have stopped him. You would have changed course for him.
Yeah.
So the months after this, Sara, what were those like?
I don't remember a lot of them, honestly. My husband, God bless him, like, he was the backbone for us because I was in a pile. I was crying a lot. We had 2 small children, and I mean, anyone who's a mom knows the show kind of goes on. Not in a negative way. You have to take care of your kids and your family. And yeah, a lot of it is just a blur. I think we just put our big girl pants on and just like put on a brave face and arrange services and hug people that are sad about it. And I think little by little, it somehow becomes less consuming. I don't know. I don't know when that happened, but I'm less of a mess now, believe it or not, than I was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah. I think it's so consuming in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find a way to sort of disconnect from it.
You have to.
You have to, because you have to function, especially as a mother. You have to function.
Right.
You have people relying on you to live, right? And so...
And they kept me alive, though, to be fair.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It goes both ways in that way. I am so thankful for them because I don't know. I honestly don't know how I would have been able to go on that. I don't know. I just thank God for them because I do think that, like, as much as I was taking care of them, like, they were very much taking care of me.
Yeah, they were the light and the love.
Truly.
And yeah, the break.
Yeah.
And then I find with grief, it's like something will remind you, right? A song, a sunset, a bird, and then you're right back in it. And it's like a wave. And you sit in it and you process it and you bawl your eyes out and then you pull yourself back together.
Yeah.
And I feel like those steps get further and further in a way.
Yeah.
And they're not like you ever come to peace around it. I don't think grief ever stops.
Right. Yeah. Someone had a good analogy. At first, grief is like a big rock in your pocket. And as soon as you put the rock in your pocket, it's all you can think about. You're like, why is this rock in my pocket? And then you start walking around with it and you're like, oh, that's annoying. It just bumped into me. But it was like, it was like an hour later. Or, you keep going, you live in your life and you're like, oh, there's still a rock in my pocket. The rock doesn't get any less heavy. It's still the same rock, but somehow you get used to the rock being there. It just becomes part of you. I think grief has just become a part of me. And I think for me, seeing it as a reflection of love instead of this negative thing, there was big love there. And that's why I still feel it the way I do.
I was told that when my niece passed away, that the level of pain is directly proportional to the level of love, right? And I was like, yeah. Like there was a lot of,
right.
Like you don't even want to hear that.
No, right.
But it's true. It feels like an endless pit sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's because your love for him was and is so deep, Sarah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think I'm happy to be in a place where I can see it that way because like you just said, like I didn't want to hear any of that. I will not hear that. I was in a place where I'm like, no.
Yep.
No. Like this is wrong. This is unfair. And it still is. But I think in light of all of this, just find like any good, you're only doing yourself these favors by finding the good. Because otherwise we'll just be stuck. And that's not a place to be either.
No.
So
and it's the last place he would want you to be.
Right. That's true.
So what is important to you on sort of explaining to listeners in the community around suicide and addiction, like really painting this in a different way? Like what is the message you really want to get out there?
I think we've touched on it a little bit. Just taking yourself out of the situation. I think we're so often like, it's about me, it's about me, it's about me. But if you're looking at this person, it has absolutely nothing to do with us. And I think we as people, we as humans, we just are always thinking about ourselves. And I'm guilty, we're all guilty. But I think if we're able to remove ourselves and remove our worth, remove like this decision, their decision to drink, their decision to take their life, like has nothing to do with you. I think that we're able to be more, give them grace, just give them grace. And I know it might not be as cut and dry for other people. I was blessed. Truly, my dad was wonderful. So I know that there's people that have been hurt by alcoholism in deeper ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it might be like a little trickier for that message to be so like
cut and dry.
Yeah, like a blanket statement for all, like, oh, your person is wonderful, like forgive them. I understand that that's naive. My person is wonderful, and I was able to see them that way. But I think even if your person's not, giving them grace, giving yourself grace, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with them. I think the world needs more of that, period.
Yeah. And I think it's a big question of what it is bringing up in you, right? Like, so you say you remove yourself. You know, a lot of people get angry at individuals for suicide. And like the question is, what is this bringing up in you personally? Is it pain? Is it sadness? And instead of like sitting with that, it gets projected out onto the person that is no longer here.
Right.
So
you're the only one suffering at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's about actually sitting with that pain, which is really hard. And in so many ways, we've trained ourselves not to sit with pain.
Oh, yeah. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We are actually programmed to probably do the opposite, right? Like run in the opposite direction of whatever is causing that discomfort.
Right.
But you can't get through it. You won't get through it that way. You just won't. It will resurface in any kind of way. You don't even know what it's going to be. Just sit with it, feel it, and then pick yourself up.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to stay there. Right. Like you just have to
acknowledge it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember when I was in the early stages of eating disorder recovery, and every time I would have the pull to use it, it's like you're supposed to sit with that feeling as long as possible. And because what's happening first is the eating disorder is coming up. to mask the pain. And so if you withstand the eating disorder and don't use the coping mechanism, the pain actually starts to come up and you can feel it. But we're not conscious to it. We just do it so quickly. We grab the bottle, we grab our phones, we grab,
exactly.
So if you actually sit with it and find it in your body and like let it, like it'll come up and it's emotion. I mean, and then it's gone, but we do everything we can to run from it.
Yeah. And it makes sense.
Of course.
Right.
It's discomfort.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
I encourage and I challenge. I don't know, just if you're grieving, if you're going through it, if you're feeling helpless, sit with it, ask for help, tell someone, talk to someone. I promise you they want to hear. I don't know. I heard someone would rather hear your problems than go to your funeral. And that was really something.
I think there's a really deep level of fear around vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like your father, like even he dipped his toe into asking about a therapist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so you could tell he wanted to open up that part of himself, but the fear of actually doing that.
I'm sure. I mean, we're talking about a guy who wants to go 100 miles per hour on anything he can get his hands on, outdoorsman. I mean, he had this really tough guy exterior, but I knew him. I saw through that clearly, but I think that generation specifically asking for help and like being vulnerable was just not in the wheelhouse for them.
Not at all.
Right. So I just think that it was something that he probably didn't even know he needed, or like didn't even know he could benefit from, like just having an in-depth conversation or a vulnerable conversation.
Or even how to access that part of him.
Oh, right.
I think when it's been shut down or locked down for so long, I don't even know if we know how to find it. Like, which is why it takes somebody else. It takes a professional. It takes a safe space. It takes someone that will help you go there.
So true.
But yeah, it's scary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
How did photography become a healing modality for you? How did your lens change? How did you bring it into your work? Like, how did the two come together?
Yeah. At first, I don't think that I was doing it intentionally. I do feel like this loss has made me almost hyper aware, which is good and bad, I think. But I'm very, very in tune with people. Families, parents, kids. So I think that really kind of honing in on those in between moments, the ones that truly reflect like who your family is. I think that is like kind of like a silent healing tool, just preserving those memories as they were right then and there. Yeah.
It's beautiful. So you're giving the gift back to other families.
Yeah.
Did you have photos with him?
Oh yeah. Yeah. My mom is she's big on taking photos, thankfully. So I have lots of them. Yeah. But it feels like a lifeline when I go to look for a photo of him. It's the only part I have left of him in ways. So I see photos as a gift to these families, and not necessarily in such a sad, morbid way, but like someday someone will go looking for a photo of you. That's sad, but it's true. And I take that very seriously. I take that job I take it serious.
And it's so clear, Sarah, you're not capturing these very like scripted moments. You're capturing these natural moments of joy and play and happiness. Like the energy screams through your photos.
Thank you.
So you're capturing the authentic family, the expressions in the moment. Like that's what you are allowing them to take home.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I also, what I as a mom myself, I think about what is important to me. And now as a daughter of someone who's lost someone significant to them, I just feel like giving people these moments it's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For someone that might be going through suicide loss or loss of a parent, what are some things that have helped you? You've had an outlet of photography. You have your children and your husband.
Yeah.
What are some other things that have helped you along the way?
I actually found a group that was specific to suicide loss. I think that truly, in the early days, I remember going, months after my dad had passed, that specifically was very helpful because loss by suicide is very different. And I'm not saying any loss is any worse than any others, but it's just it's very complicated. So being in a room of parents, children of people who've lost their parents by suicide, being in a specific room of people that truly know that feeling specifically. And they were, I think, monthly meetings, and then it was very beneficial to my healing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that is the exact reason I created Safe Space. Because to be in a room of other men and women that knew what it was like to have an eating disorder, to knew what it was like to have forms of abuse, and to be able to openly share and just know, you get it.
Yes.
You get it.
Yes.
That is the exact reason. So I understand that to my core.
So thankful for people like you, though, because it's pivotal. It's pivotal for people who are looking to heal. I think that's the other half of it is you have to want to get out of it. And not because I think I struggled with this, I almost didn't want to heal because I didn't want to forget him.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I just knew that sad part of me was because it was him. I was sad because I was missing him. And if I weren't sad, I weren't missing him. And I know that's not true, but I think I was very fearful of being okay because it would mean I would love him less somehow. And that it's the opposite. I've learned that it's truly the opposite.
I think there are so many people that are living in that space and are not aware of that connection that they're making. That if I actually start to feel this pain and let this pain lessen some and heal, that I'm going to
forget them and love
forget.
them.
Yes. I'm going to forget them, or maybe I'm not. It might not mean that I love them enough, or whatever conclusion that they keep themselves in that pain.
Yeah. And I do. I find myself there sometimes. I'm like, oh, I haven't cried lately. What is wrong with me? What? I'm not sad enough, but I think that I have done some work that I know when I can set it aside or when I have to set it aside, to survive, to thrive,
to live.
Yeah. But I do think that I've come to peace with knowing that there will always be a part of me that will always be sad. And I think that if you can take anything from that kind of tidbit, I think that if you can accept that sadness, I think that has helped me be in the long run, the long haul with this grief, is that I'm not going to get over being sad ever. I'm going to live with being sad, and it's always going to be there, and that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's right there. It's this little piece of you that you can access, yet you're not allowing it to control you.
Right. Yeah. I think we're so quick to say, how do I get over this? How do I move on from this? How do I stop feeling this? We were kind of talking about, but I think if you can accept that a little part of me will just not be okay, that's real. That's the truth. I will never be okay that he's gone.
Yeah. It is so human. So human.
Yeah.
Do you talk to him?
I did today.
Did you?
I did today. Yeah.
On your way here?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm still not used to it. Like talking out loud, I feel crazy, but I'm like, I don't even care. Like, Dad, just like.
Oh my gosh, I have so many goosebumps right now.
I told him I'm doing this for him. I'm doing this for anyone who feels maybe even a fraction of how he felt. You're worth helping. You're worth saving. Yeah. I hope he hears that.
Oh, he hears it.
Yeah.
He hears it. And so many people are going to hear this. And I am hoping that it hits the right person on the right day.
Me too. Yeah.
Because as you sit here bravely and so humanly allowing all of you to show, like you're making it okay for others to do the same exact thing, Sarah. And I just applaud you in every way.
Thank you. I think a lot of us, myself included, I go through these phases where I'm like, scared. Obviously, we're scared to be vulnerable to, I don't know if as a result of shame or embarrassment or guilt, but I think that the darkness thrives in the silence.
It 100% does. I literally just had this conversation on the podcast before you that when we hide those parts, when we hide the pain, when we hide the sadness, when we hide, it grows.
Yeah.
And it festers and it eats away.
Nothing good can come from that place.
Right.
There's just nothing good. So the tears and the vulnerability are worth every minute if it helps someone, honestly.
Yeah, I fully agree. Is there anything else you want to leave with the community today before we sign off?
Just be nice to each other. I don't know.
That's a great one.
You know what I mean?
Life is hard right now. Life is hard.
Just be nice to each other. I don't know. I think that we could just all use a little kindness. Yeah. Smile at a stranger, pay for someone's coffee, hold the door. Just go back to the basics. Life does not need to be grand gestures. It just needs to be, you got to show people humanity and a little bit of grace. Yeah.
Show people that you see them.
You see them. Yeah. You see them. It could change someone's day.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I know this podcast will. So thank you, my friend, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And if you are not following Sara, please, Sara Russo Photography. I'm applauding you and cheering you on along the way.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. Seriously.
All right. And we're off.